Welcome to another edition of Northeast Speaks with Chipenkfung. Today it's about Nagaland. All eyes are on the economic condition of the indigenous people of Nagaland in recent times. Now, there is a widespread fear and concern that the state's economy is being controlled by non-locals. Well, this program today will focus on the business sector in the state and its contribution. There are undeniable indications that the business sector is heavily influenced by non-locals. A recent report, I'm not going to quote which report, but a recent report doing the rounds on social media has highlighted a pressing issue in Nagaland. The report indicates that a significant majority of shops are run by non-locals, raising concerns about the state's economic control and demographic makeup. For instance, out of 23,777 shops in Nagaland, which was provided by the report or by the study, 17,055 shops are owned by outsiders, which make up 71.73%. Now, while only 6,722 shops are run by the locals, this is alarming, but again, not rocket science, because we all know that this is happening. Out of every 20 shops, only one is owned by a local. To discuss this issue, I have three esteemed guests joining me today on this show: Dr. Roland Lotha, Dr. Tambeneng Hnchoy, and Engineer Meshen Lokat. Gentlemen, thank you very much and welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Right, so let's begin. I will first go to Dr. Roland Lotha. Dr. Roland Lotha, thank you very much once again. And this question is for you. Is the Nagaland business sector, or should I say, business or enterprises owned by indigenous Nagas under threat? The majority of Nagas feel this way. What are your observations, Dr. Roland Lotha?
Well, most of the business houses are established, and in fact, they are dominant business bodies, which is in preponderance, as we have mentioned out, to the indigenous Nagas. So this is primarily because of unregulated, port, which is so important that there should be an indigenous body and non-indigenous business body, to have a regulated port so that the interests of both the organization are addressed. Otherwise, the monopoly of the non-local business, because they have capital resource and they can, monopolize the business, whereas the lack of capital by the Nagas is contributing to this. So the lack of capital resource has contributed to this problem. So I should say that the monetary, in short, capacity of the non-local traders are more. So this is very simple.
So here you are stating that it is, the lack of capital. That is one reason, and another reason is that Nagaland really needs a regulatory board to control, who comes in the business and who should not come in the business. That's what you're indicating, I believe. Now, let me go to Dr. Roland Lotha. I have more questions for you, but let me also welcome Engineer Meshen Lokat and pose this next question to him. Engineer Meshen Lo, talk about Kohima, talk about Dimapur or Wokha. Out of 20 shops, only one is owned by Naga, and I can see that fact. Why do you think this is happening? Is it financial? Is it lack of knowledge or entrepreneurship knowledge? Is it lack of support, or is it the ease of doing business, or is the ease of doing business absent in Nagaland? What are your thoughts, Engineer Meshen Lo?
Yeah, sir. For me, I feel that it is because we lack the knowledge of entrepreneurship. As a Naga, since our childhood, we were never taught about the importance of entrepreneurship. And I'm glad that nowadays, at least there are some people who are promoting entrepreneurship, the importance of entrepreneurship. Earlier, it was only we were of the mentality that we are nothing without government job. But now people like our Sir Roland and all, they are an example of entrepreneurship. So I feel that it was the lack of education given to the Nagas about entrepreneurship. And also, The second point is it is to do with the mentality of our people. We think that if we do small job, we become small. We have that ego problem with our Naga people. That's what I feel. Because here in Kohima or in Dimapur, we hardly see a person, Naga person, who is running a barber shop or who is opening a mobile repair shop. So we Nagas have the tendency thinking that only when I have lakhs and crores of money, I will start a business. But I feel it's never like that. For everything, we have to start from some initial thing. Nah? So it is to do with our mentality. And also, when it comes to mentality, our Naga people, if there is a line of shops, say 5 run by non-locals, 1 run by Naga, we always prefer going to the non-local shop. So those are the things for me, I feel. Yeah.
Right, that's right. Now, Dr. Tamben, if you are in, yes, if Dr. Tamben is in, my question is for you. Thank you very much for joining. I welcome you once again. We were struggling with the network a little bit, Dr. Tamben. Now, this question is for you, Dr. Tamben Humchoi. Most Naga families view government job as a primary source of income, despite several options. You know that. And being an economist, you are an eminent economist. How important is the business sector for Nagaland or for the Naga populace? How is the present situation affecting indigenous Nagas? Dr. Tamben Humchoi.
Thank you for having me at the outset. No economy will develop without the development of the private sector. So private sector-led economic development is essential for the growth of the economy of Nagaland. However, there are challenges for private sector-led development in the state, and that's why the clamor for government jobs is observed. So contrary to popular opinion, the clamor for government jobs is a symptom of a larger problem rather than the cost of the problem. Now, where else will the state's human resource seek for employment when the private sector is undeveloped? So, as I have said, the claim of a government job is a symptom of an underlying problem, which is the constraints, the many constraints to the development of the private sector.
Right, rightly put. Now, Dr. Roland, coming back to you, Dr. Tamben just talked about the development of a private sector in his statement. Now, Dr. Roland, we see when we look at Nagaland, in the context of Nagaland, we see the absence of private sector, we see the absence of public sector. In fact, the MSMEs, micro, small, medium enterprises, this play a vital role in empowering a state's economy. And Nagaland falls way behind in this. Why can't Nagaland progress in this venture? Is our state non-conducive? Dr. Roland.
Well, here we are talking about the non-indigenous people taking over the business. And now my question here is how the non-indigenous people took over. The Nagaland government has legislated in 1978, Nagaland Land and Revenue Regulation Act. So no one who is not an indigenous people or citizen can acquire a land. And now here we see influx of non-local or rather non-tribal traders. Who has given them this permission? Restricted area permit is for the foreign nationals, as we all know. And inner line permit is for the Indian citizens. Most of us dogs that if we allow influx of illegal immigrants in the state, it will change the demography of the state. But now the question here is, the larger question here is the economy of the state. How these indigenous non-indigenous people non-tribal people has influxed the state. We have to address the core issue. Who has given them the permission? If an ILB is for a 6 months duration or 1 month duration, how come they have permanently established a business, taking over all the business enterprise and controlling the 90% of the state economy? We have a lot to answer because the government has no regulated, laws in place to curb those illegal business people. Because I should say legal business people, because they don't have legal permit to run business. Whereas we have issued trade license to these illegal immigrants, so-called, without having valid residency certificate, without having indigenous certificate. They are even owning a land. And the later amendment 2002 Act has again put a provision where financial institution nationalized paying can, mortgage. They can mortgage the nationalized paying. But the fact of the matter here is, Nagaland has no, set land laws. If you talk about Tripura, I'm sorry, we have got a proper, land laws. If we regulate these land laws, the Act of 1978, where without having an indigenous certificate, a land cannot be sold off to the non-indigenous, then local entrepreneurs can grow. We are talking about, flourishing the local economy, investment of the foreign, investor from the outside, but there is no conducive atmosphere. And the monopoly of the non-local indigenous businessmen are, massive. So
Right.
it is easier said than done to say, to propagate and preach that, we can have a suitable atmosphere for the local traders to have a flourishing business, enterprise in the state of Nagaland.
Exactly, Dr. Roland, well said. Gentlemen, we'll take a very short break. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back. Now, before the break, Dr. Roland Lotha was talking about the non-regulation of the licensed trade or the ILP process or implementation in the state. We shall come back to that issue because there's a special segment or set of questions related to the ILP and how, all of these unregulated or unlicensed businesses are being set up. But now I'll go to Engineer Meshenlo. Let's talk about Mizoram here. Let's bring Mizoram into context. Almost everything is controlled by the indigenous people in Mizoram. If we go walk around the streets of Aizawl, you'll see that everything from the big enterprises to the micro enterprises, everything is controlled by the locals there. And God, look at their progress. Is it feasible for Nagaland to emulate Mizoram's model? Would it succeed in Nagaland, Engineer Meshenlo?
Yes, sir. I would like to say that if we are to become like Mizoram, we first need to change our mentality. Unless we change our mentality, we can never dream of becoming Mizoram. Everything starts with our thinking, our mentality. See, example like when it comes to their government, they believe in ideologies, they believe in ideas, they believe in people who can bring about a change in the state. That's why even newcomers, for the first time, young people, they are ministers today. They are governing their state with good ideas. That's why they are able to progress and they are able to compete with the world and the country also today. But when it comes to our state, the eligibility, the criteria of a person to be eligible for an MLA is counted by the amount of money he spends in election. So we have to first change that mentality, then we can think about the rest. Yeah.
Well, that's a very interesting point you have put out there. Now, we'll come back to that also as well. Dr. Damben, sorry. Let's talk about this one. From retail outlets to hotels, from automobile dealership to hardware shops, everything, including pan dukan, everything is controlled or everything is owned by non-locals out there in Nagaland. Let's talk about the laws we are facing annually. I understand that it might be difficult, it might be challenging in giving an exact figure, but what do you think of this?
I wish I could cite a figure. However, I'm not aware of any survey reports containing such data. That kind of data gaps actually characterizes most of the discourses in the state. And that's why some issues are perceived to be larger than they are, while some issues are perceived to be smaller than they actually are. So such data gaps needs to be addressed immediately. Having said that, it is not a straightforward case of all lost and no gain. Allow me to elaborate on that. At the micro level, that is to say at the individual level, whether it is gainful or not depends on whether you are a seller of goods and services or a buyer of goods and services. If you are a seller trying to make a living from trading, then obviously the competition with the migrant traders is to your disadvantage. On the contrary, however, if you are a buyer of goods and services, then the competition is to your advantage because owing to the competition, you may get goods and services at a cheaper price. Now, at the macro level, at the economy as a whole level, we have to compare the outflow of remittance. Remittance is also used in the context of international trade. The income that is earned by migrant traders and then sent to the home states of the migrant traders. So we have to compare the outflow of remittance with the inflow of remittance from the Nagas working outside the state. So it is not a straightforward case of all lost and no gain. So I think we have to consider this aspect in our discourse on the impact of migrant traders on the state's economy.
Right, that's right. Dr. Roland Lotha, coming back to you now. Dr. Roland, we are aware every Indian has the right to operate business anywhere across India. However, in the case of Nagaland, there is an influx of people running unlicensed business, as you have mentioned a few minutes ago in your statement. How can we regulate this issue? And is the inner line permit will it be really impactful in controlling this situation that we are talking about right now, this unregulated influx of people from outside doing business, setting up business in Nagaland? Is ILP really impactful here?
Well, ILB is, as I pointed out earlier, a visa for the Indians. Just as RAB, restricted area permit, is a visa within a visa. Because with a visa, Indian visa, any foreigners can enter India, but not the restricted area like Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, somewhere in the Andaman and Nicobar. So this ILP and RAB, this was introduced for sociological consideration to safeguard the indigenous, the tribal, cultural heritage, their practices, their faith, and so on and so forth. So this ILB has nothing to do in terms of checking the influx of refugees or immigrants. Therefore, most of the organization on the government may be hyped up in checking the ILB or RAB, but these are basically a visa and these are basically a tourist permit. But what I want to impress upon us here is those business people who have established a business, leasing a land from the Nagas for 99 years, or some even transferred their land to another Marwari or other, Bihari, or those, in short, non-tribal people. And they are expanding their business in Nagaland.
Right.
So if we are able to grab this, this fiasco or this unregulated transfer of land, then and check those illegal traders who have issued. My question here is trade to the illegal immigrants who have no permanent residency in the state of Nagaland, and most of the non-local, most of the non-Nagas acquired a land through an outright purchase, through transfer, or through leasing. But the Nagaland Land and Revenue Regulation Act, as I pointed out earlier, 1978, as amended, the Assam Land Revenue Regulation Act 86, is to suit our context. So if the business house or the entrepreneurs are within Nagas, regulated, by the town council, municipal, the district administration, these illegal traders will be phased out.
Right, right.
That way, the Nagas economy will be, belongs to the Nagas.
Exactly.
So we can have a monopoly over our business. We have no other choice but to depend on our local traders to enhance our economy.
Exactly.
Now, these so-called the business people are outsourcing their business to Khatgadi, Assam, just 100 meters or 50 meters from Nagaland. So they are paying tax now to the Assam government, whereas they're earning from Nagaland. These are also something that we need to take care. And as I said, more than talking about this ILB and IRB and whatnot, hyping up all this issue, we should check those people who have acquired a land through illegal means, and those illegal traders
Exactly.
should be
That makes sense.
put to book, and the trade license should be issued and encouraged to the local entrepreneurs.
That's right. That's a very valid point. That I hope the statement that you made opened the eyes of people in our state, because those statements are very true, and we need to deliberate, we need to act on those things. Engineer Mashinlo, coming back to you now, across Nagaland, people are saying our economy is being dominated or controlled by non-locals, and it's true. We cannot deny that. But aren't we Nagas also to be blamed for this existing situation? We lease out our lands, just like Dr. Roland said, we lease out our lands for years, for decades, rent out our buildings to set up their commercial places or commercial, enterprises, ventures, and we are playing the victim card here. What do you think? Are we also to be blamed here?
Of course, sir, I would say from the beginning, I was saying it is to do with our mentality. Again, sticking to the point again, see, everything that is the business, that is the big suppliers and all, everything are non-locals. It is because maybe there is something wrong with our people now. And I myself, I'm not from a business sector. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just an activist. But given this opportunity, I would also like to share. See, there is something wrong with our people. That's why the outsiders are dominating. So like our Sir Dr. Roland has already stated, there should be some regulatory board, a very strong one to control all these things. There should be some strict rules and regulation, how it should be, how it should go about.
That's right. Right statement. Right statement. Now, Dr. Tamben, my final question to you is, my observation is that Nagas have an advantage when it comes to our agri products, right? Our agri products, our vegetables, be it our fruits and other commodities that we produce in our own land, using our own, ethnic touches, let's say, indigenous touches. They have garnered widespread attention. How can we capitalize on this?
Yeah, your observation is correct. We seem to be successful in products that we grow ourselves. We see Naga traders successful in organic vegetables, handicraft products, and so on. So here is a clue as a way forward for the Nagaland state to transition from consumer state to producer state, because we seem to be doing well in products that we produce ourselves. So, if we transition from being a consumer state to producer state, then I think our traders may find success. And allow me to very quickly comment on the legal position. Uh, it is legal under the supreme law of the land, the Constitution of India, for any Indian citizen to engage in any lawful trading
Right.
activities, just as it is legal for any Naga to engage in any legal trading businesses across the state. I think that legal position should be clear. So prohibition is not the way forward, and ILP is not a legal instrument to prohibit the entry of migrant traders. It is a legal instrument to make Indian citizens enter with permission. We seem to have understood. Popular understanding is that ILP is a legal instrument for prohibition. I think
Right.
that should also be understood. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh, so the way forward is to build the capacity of our entrepreneurs so that they can compete with the migrant traders. I think that's the way forward.
Exactly, a very valid point there. Well, gentlemen, I wish we had more time because this is a very vast issue. However, given the time constraint, given the duration of this program, which is to be precise, 30 minutes only, we have come to the end of our show. However, we will be coming back again because an issue this important, this vital for a state, for a state like Nagaland, we need to deliberate, ponder more on this. So I'm expecting your presence again in future shows. So gentlemen, for now, thank you very much for giving your time for participating in this show, and I hope this discussion that we have had today will enlighten our people and will open up our minds, so we will be exploring the different things that we have brainstormed today. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on this show today. Thank you very much.